Watching a film with friends, missing VHS videotape repeating.
Welcome back, fam and crew, creeps and peeps. Today we're looking at Brainscan. Which, when you say this out loud, it's like, you know what I really love? I love a good Edward Furlong Franklin Jello movie. And you'd be right in saying that. Brainscan. It's an interactive and state-of-the-art. It's interactive and state-of-the-art. It's not just a game. It's murder. So this is from Columbia TriStar Home Video, Triumph Releasing Corporation, 1994, Nightmare on CD-ROM, according to Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. When a lonely teenager, Edward Furlong, orders the latest interactive video game, the high-tech wizardry penetrates his subconscious, where his darkest impulses lead him through a deadly maze of murder, deception, and desire. Pursued by a homicide detective, Franklin Jella, and prodded by the trickster, T. Ryder Smith, he is torn between the worlds of good and evil, of reality and fantasy, and, ultimately, of life and death. This is actually a screenplay by Andrew Kevin Walker, who you might know. He wrote such things as he did like Sleepy Hollow, The Game. He did some script stuff on Fight Club. He wrote Seven. I mean, he's a pretty well known now screenwriter. But this is one of the first things he ever wrote, first features of his, and directed by John Flynn, produced by Michael Roy. This movie is fantastic. It's so weird and so good and weirdly prophetic all at the same time. Oh, it also stars, what's her name? Amy Hargreaves, which she was on some TV show my mom used to watch all the time, and I was like, hey, that's the chick, I've seen her boobs, because she shows her boobs in this movie, which is weird. I'm not watching it now. Obviously, it's 1994, it's 2025, so this is what, 31 years ago? Math? Yes. He's supposed to be like 16 or 17, and she's supposed to be his neighbor who's also in school, who's 16, 17, and they show her boobs, and that's just kind of strange, because he's like peeping on her through the window, but she's kind of like knows he peeps on her, so she's showing off because she likes him too. What I like about this movie is like it has this weird, ethereal, empty feel to it, which I can't really explain, except like sometimes I have these dreams where it feels like I'm running through my neighborhood and through my town late at night when everybody else is asleep, and like I'm secretly doing it and I'm not supposed to, but there's like a weirdness in the air that there's no air. There's like no wind, there's no breeze, it's just like there's like nothing in the ether. But it's just like me existing with no one else around. And that's kind of this vibe I get from this film during the sequences when he's in the game, running around his neighborhood doing what he does. That's the best way I can explain it. But also what I find interesting about this movie is how prophetic it is in technology. Because Edward Furlong has a computer that he's built that's tied in with the internet, that's tied in with his phone line, and he can just talk to his computer, call him Igor, and it'll dial numbers for him. It'll do all this kind of stuff, and then like stuff that obviously we have nowadays. Maybe it existed to some extent in the mid-90s too. I just wasn't, too technically savvy back then. But one interesting thing that I always notice when I watch this movie is he's in his room, his video camera's pointing at her room because she lives next door, and it's being shown on his HD TV. Now his HD TV back then was one of these weird ones where like there's almost like no depth of field, right? So like she's in her room here, there's a window pane, you got the frame of the TV, camera's looking through her window, it's like window frames, right? And he calls her, and as she starts walking over to answer the phone, like she gets bigger, but the whole background stays the same. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna have to cut the thing out and insert it. There's just this weird thing the digital TVs, the early versions of digital TVs back in the 90s had, where they had like no depth of field, So if I can show that clip, so that might be one. She might have her bra on, but I'll have to clip it out and show it. But here's what I'm talking about.
Igor. Yes, master.
Dial Kimberly. Later.
Anyway, I really like this movie. I don't think I've watched it probably maybe 20 years. I think the last time I did watch it, it was on DVD. But it's just a strangely weird movie. It's very simplistic in the storytelling. It's very structuralized. You know, it's like kind of this part, this part, this part, this part. But like, Edward Furlong was great. I think I like him in this better than any other movie I've seen him in, which isn't a lot, to be honest. He does kind of... T2, of course, is where most of us heard of him. But this movie, I think, is fantastic. I mean, there's a guy, one of his best friends, you know, they got their horror club, and it's just very, makes you feel at home in a weird way. But if you've never seen Brainscan, it's got a great following. People know what this movie is, and it's just fantastic. So give it a like, or give it a watch if you haven't seen it before. Let me know what your favorite Frank Langella movie. What the hell else has Frank Langella been in? He's just one of those dudes who's in everything, but you're like, oh, Frank Langella, let's watch a Frank Langella movie. Although he's fantastic. I love Frank Langella. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.